Welcome everyone. This is Acid Roots. Okay, going to kick off this channel, and the first person that we're going to do is Eminem, also known as Slim Shady, also known as Marshall Mathers. Now, this person is really, he's kind of one of the definitive rappers, and he's done a lot of music. It's hit charts. It's really done a good time. But the thing about it is he just hasn't had a flawless record. So I know, you just have to think, well, considering he's gone 10 times platinum twice, that's pretty good. So I like him. I don't have a problem. I'm not someone who thinks he fell off or anything like that. I enjoy his records for the most part. But on this album, the Slim Shady LP, he happens to be quite extravagantly insane. And I like the way that he kind of delved into this because he doesn't do that very often. He's had a number of albums, but it almost feels like listening to everything he does is just he's collectively calmed down. So he was like 25, 26 when he made this album. So you just have to understand what someone who lives in a slummy type world and, likes to get high is doing. It's an interesting thing, just hearing about it. People who might be over, a little bit past 30 or so, past their 30s, they might not find Eminem as enticing, but what it should do because it's 16 years old is it should bring you back. And that's particularly important just because, there's, you don't have to retire or anything, but really, this album is exceptional. It really is. It's a great debut. I mean, Infinite came out, but that one was kind of, I guess I would call it like album zero, just because if this is the first album, that one's zero, just because he was kind of finding his style. And I guess like he had a number of different people, maybe like Pharaoh Monk. I don't know how to say his name. Um, Big L and people like that who Eminem has said he's gotten influence from. So, he had a different style. The lyrical type thing was in, but I kind of like this sort of style more. And what that is you can hear the syllables that he's going to rhyme. He's real good at letting you know how he's going to rhyme it, but at the same time, it just deals with him what he's doing. It's not talking to you as if I just want you to know what I'm doing. He's letting you know what he's doing. Like some people, they just want you to know that they make money and they do whatever with it. Hey, I'm out here all night, hustling all night, that sort of thing. He doesn't really do that. And I'm kind of glad for that. This isn't really a hustle or a grind album. It's more just somewhat, and I mean, Eminem references school and that some of the things he's doing a few times, and you just get the idea that, well, I mean, it's interesting. If you're someone who has places to go and you got like a bunch of people that you hang out with and you experiment and everything, you're probably pretty similar to Eminem, at least the way he was in 1999, 98, 97, that sort of thing. So this is interesting because he's so sporadic. You don't know what he's going to say or do. And at the time, that was very controversial. So this album was a 5-star album when it came out, but it just didn't get quite all of the acclaim that some of his later ones did. So the radio songs from this album were The first one was My Name Is. And yeah, first one was My Name Is. And you probably heard this song. It's kind of happy, but at the same time, it is it has more things about it and everything like that. I'm trying to feel how I want to describe it. He just comes off as like a psychopath a little bit. Just the things that he says, like sticking 9-inch nails through his eyelids. There's plenty of that, and almost every song on this CD has something sick to say. The next song that was kind of up there was Role Model. This is one of the songs I like the most, mainly because I love the beat. I think Dr. Dre did it, and happens to be another real kind of murky song. I mean, I've been trying to think of words to describe dark type CDs and everything. And dark is just so plain. You need something else to say, like gothic, murky, depthy. I just can't figure out what would be a word to describe something that doesn't have a good mood about it. But we'll work on that. Role Model was the second one, and that's definitely a good song. Just Don't Give a Fuck was the fourth single, and it didn't really chart that well, but it's a good song. It feels like a head rush. I'm gonna let you know that. Eminem's on his game, and he doesn't help the matter. And the other song, which kind of got some popularity to it, was Guilty Conscious. Now, only one song from this album charted, but this song also did fairly well. So, Guilty Conscious just kind of lets you know what was going on. And really, Eminem was, he kind of beefed with some people. Like, he doesn't like Insane Clown Posse, and he doesn't like Everlast, and he doesn't like Limp Bizkit. Just a bunch of. There were some people that kind of did similar things that he did, just not as rap oriented, and he just didn't have a good connection with most of these people, which is unfortunate because it would have been a good thing to see. Would have been a good thing to see what he would have done with them. But okay, can you smoke to this? And I'd say you can definitely smoke to this. Really, Role Model's a great smoking song. Just Don't Give a Fuck's a great smoking song. Rock Bottom's pretty good. My Fault is a good one. Guilty Conscience, My Name Is. These are some good songs. I Still Don't Give a Fuck is one of the best songs to smoke to. So over half the album is worth smoking to. The production is handled well, and I'll talk about a few of the ones that I like. Just Don't Give a Fuck's a really good song. It happens. Like I said, it's a head rush. There's just not a lot of beats like it out there. It just feels like you took one too many aspirin or something. Don't do this, but that's kind of what it feels like. Still Don't Give a Fuck's another song. That's one of my favorite beats on the album. I'm Shady has a pretty good beat in the background. Rock Bottom's pretty good. My Fault's really good. Role Model's one of the best. And If I Had's pretty good. So you're just gonna, I really recommend you listen to this album though. It's a good thing. But the unheard songs, these are the songs that, besides the 4 radio songs that I listed, these are the ones that you should check out. So that leaves, that's 4, so there's actually 6 more that you should check out. I'm Shady, Still Don't Give a Fuck, Just Don't Give a, or Rock Bottom, My Fault, Role Model, 97 Bonnie and Clyde, and If I Had. I think I said Role Model, but If I Had's another one. So that makes up the whole thing. And then a close song that I happen to like, but I just didn't like the way he took the lyrics was "As the World Turns." I don't know, he just kind of got tunnel vision on that song. But so when I compare this to other albums, I think probably you're gonna like this album quite a bit, and more than likely you're gonna want Slim Shady to return. So there, Eminem never really forgets about him, but stay tuned and you'll find out some more information. I mean, this is like a great entry to Eminem just because this is him at his most ground level. He really starts getting lyrical later on some of his later songs, but this is, he just didn't care on this album. That was the primary focus, was just the fact he doesn't care what happens, he's just going to do whatever he says. And so he kind of lost that as the future went on, but this is still, 14 songs on here, it's going to last you some time. The year's lineup, I don't really remember what came out in 1999. The thing was that there was a bunch of stuff. Rap rock was really big. Jay-Z was really big at the time. Scarface was around. Tupac's Aftermath was really big. Snoop Dogg was with Master P. There's just some good stuff to check out as far as rap is concerned. Not to mention there were some singers. I think Mariah Carey had a CD around that time. And there was Justin Timberlake and that sort of stuff. There were just plenty of people. Christina Aguilera. So I recommend this album quite a bit, and since I like 10 out of 14 songs, let me just count that real quick. So, yeah, like 10 out of 14 songs. That I'm just gonna give that a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I didn't is just because of songs like or As the World Turns. Like I said, the lyrics kind of slagged off. Bad Meets Evil, they're a group and everything, but they just didn't. They did not start off with a good song, even if the lyrics were good. The beat's really hard to get into. Come On Everybody didn't really, it wasn't that cohesive. For the most part, the only reason I usually don't like songs is just because the beats aren't matching what they should be, because Eminem is on point, but unless he just talks about something that I really don't want to hear about, that's basically the only thing. So, and that would be, just talking about how he got bullied when he was in school or something. I mean, that's fine that he wants to deal with it, but, talk about we just needed more songs that had to do with, what he's doing when he has money. But, that's alright. Slim Shady LP was just the life of Slim Shady and what he was dealing with those years. And it's interesting. So I recommend this album. Like I said, the future Eminem dropped Shady 15 last year, and he's executive producing the soundtrack to the movie Southpaw, which he was originally going to be in. So you get that. And is this album social? I'll talk about that. I think it is, but the only problem with it is that there aren't a ton of songs just dealing. I mean, Eminem is not very good at being in the club, and so he does have things to say, and most people will like his lyrics, but there's not necessarily songs that deal with a bunch of people. It just doesn't feel like he has any people that he's riding with, and he doesn't really mention people outside of himself. The only real feature that I can remember is Dr. Dre and Royce the 5'9". Now, Dr. Dre was the producer, but you just don't get the relationship. Well, Dr. Dre and I are doing this. We don't know how much of a nut Dr. Dre is. And Royce the 5'9", you don't really get the sense of him that much either. So this is kept relatively light in terms of, being indulgent, but I don't know, it just feels like Eminem does that sometimes. He's more focused and centered than a lot of other people, but this is probably him at his most outing, at his wildest. So keep that in mind. Can it be topped? Probably not. I mean, yeah, I think it can, and it has. Alright, subscribe for more fun.